Searching Standard & Poor's NetAdvantage. The purpose of Standard & Poor's NetAdvantage is to provide investment advice to individual investors, so the information that is provided is targeted at that audience. There is a lot of information here that can be useful to you, but it is not the only source to look at for information about your company. Also keep in mind that this is a database that the library purchases for you to use. That is why you have to log in from off campus, so that you will get to the material that's purchased for you to use. In the past, some students have gone to www.standardandpoors.com to do their searching. That is the free stuff that the company puts up for anybody on the web. It doesn't have the same depth of information that you get from the database we pay for you to use. As you probably know by now, you can get to the purchase database by starting at the library's website, www.lcsc.edu/library. Click on Find Articles and More. Click on the Databases link. Click on Business. And then scroll down through the alphabetical list of business databases until you get to Standard & Poor's NetAdvantage. I'll start by typing in the company name Whole Foods. This company overview page can give you a nice, concise description of the company and its current strategy. Over here on the left side of this screen, we find the table of contents list for the report on this company. We're going to look especially at the stock report and the industry survey. You can look at all the pieces if you like. I will warn you that their lists of competitors are usually too broad to be of very much help to you. The company profiles described in another video will in most cases provide a more focused list of competitors than Standard & Poor's. You can find pieces of financial data on this website, but keep in mind that this database is sold to advise investors, so the stock reports and industry surveys by Standard & Poor's analysts are the value added of this product. You sell yourself short by not using these features of the database. On the table of contents, I'll click on the stock report. I prefer the PDF version because I can readily see their buy, sell, hold recommendation with up to 5 stars. So Whole Foods is currently getting a hold recommendation with 3 stars. The report goes into detail about the analyst's reasoning behind the recommendation. It's a good place to go to understand the company's current and short-term future profitability. Don't limit your research to just the buy, sell, hold recommendation or the stock price. There's more to this report than that. Companies don't operate in a vacuum. There are forces in the economy and society that are going to affect every company in the industry, regardless of individual company characteristics. For example, major weather events can influence the cost and availability of food for most companies in the food retailing industry, so it's important to keep in mind the state of the industry. Near the bottom of the table of contents list, we see Industry Survey. I'll click on the HTML version because I like the hyperlinks to the different sections of the report. Keep in mind that this is a report on the entire industry, so not all the trends they discuss will apply to our company, because they might not be in that line. So for example, I don't know how much of Whole Foods' profits come from the drugstore business, so all the discussion about that sector may not influence Whole Foods as much as, say, Walgreens. You have to pick out the parts that apply to your company's business. Each of these hyperlinked lines represents a separate section of the industry survey. Each one can be helpful, from the industry trends to how the industry operates, to how to analyze a company, to comparative company analysis. I have found in the past that students have skipped a lot of this analysis that could really guide them in their understanding of the company and the industry in which it operates. One section I really like is how the industry operates. In this case, apparently, cost control is crucial. They give you lots of insights into what factors are especially important to look at for companies in the industry. Okay, so these are the pieces from Standard & Poor's that I think will be the most helpful for this particular course. Let's talk a little about how to cite what you find in Standard & Poor's. Here are some sample citations in APA format. You will have to create your own citations as they don't provide free APA citations in the database. The first citation is for a stock report. Here is where you find the author's name and the date on the stock report. Include the name of the stock report, the fact that it is found in Standard & Poor's Capital IQ, then it is retrieved from Standard & Poor's NetAdvantage database. Remember that this database is different from what is found at www.standardandpoors.com, the free website for the public, so cite the database. For the industry report, the author's name comes first, last name first initials, date, the name of the industry survey, the fact that it is in Standard & Poor's Capital IQ industry surveys, and once again, the name of the database. Let the librarians know if you need any help with accessing or citing this resource.